Welcome to our Cinematic Storycraft English Learning YouTube channel. Today is very interested topic, my vacation in London City. This story is helpful for your English learning listening and speaking skills. So listen carefully and feel free and enjoy the story. My vacation in London began as a dream, a city drenched in history and teeming with vibrant life, beckoning me from across the Atlantic. I arrived at Heathrow Airport on a crisp morning, the kind where the air feels fresh and full of promise. The city, even from the airplane window, looked like a sprawling tapestry of red brick buildings, interspersed with patches of green parks and the winding ribbon of the River Thames. As soon as I stepped off the plane, the energy of London embraced me. The first task was navigating the Underground, or the Tube, as locals call it. My destination was a cozy little hotel in Covent Garden, known for its theaters and the bustling market. The tube ride was an experience in itself. The efficiency of the system was impressive, and the eclectic mix of passengers, from business professionals to street performers, provided a fascinating glimpse into the city's diversity. Arriving in Covent Garden, I was immediately captivated by the lively atmosphere. Street performers entertained crowds with music, magic, and acrobatics. The market, housed in a beautiful 19th century building, was brimming with stalls selling everything from artisanal food to handmade crafts. I spent hours wandering around, sampling local delicacies like fresh-baked scones with clotted cream and jam, and admiring the craftsmanship of the vendors. That evening, I attended a performance at the Royal Opera House, one of London's most iconic cultural landmarks. The grandeur of the building, with its stunning glass facade and opulent interiors, was breathtaking. I watched a performance of The Nutcracker, and the combination of the world-class ballet, the live orchestra, and the enchanting set design transported me to a magical world. It was an unforgettable experience that set the tone for the rest of my trip. The next day, I decided to explore some of London's historical landmarks. My first stop was the Tower of London. As I walked through the ancient stone walls, I could almost feel the weight of the centuries of history they had witnessed. The crown jewels were a highlight, their dazzling beauty a stark contrast to the starkness of the tower's medieval architecture. The beefeaters, with their rich knowledge and quirky sense of humor, brought the history of the place to life with their stories of intrigue, imprisonment, and execution. From there, I took a short walk to Tower Bridge. The view from the high-level walkways was spectacular, offering a panoramic vista of London's skyline. I was particularly taken with the sight of the Shard piercing the sky, its modern glass structure juxtaposed against the historic buildings below. Walking across the glass floor of the bridge, with the Thames flowing beneath, was both thrilling and slightly unnerving. A visit to the British Museum was next on my itinerary. The sheer size of the museum and the breadth of its collection were overwhelming. I spent hours wandering through exhibits that spanned millennia and covered every corner of the globe. The Rosetta Stone was a particular highlight, as was the Egyptian mummy collection. Each artifact seemed to whisper tales of ancient civilizations, and I found myself lost in time as I moved from room to room. Strolling through Hyde Park later that day, I felt a sense of peace amidst the bustling city. The park was alive with activity: joggers, families picnicking, and couples rowing boats on the Serpentine. I sat by the lake, enjoying the serenity and watching the swans glide gracefully across the water. The Speaker's Corner was another fascinating spot, where people from all walks of life stood on soapboxes, passionately discussing politics, religion, and everything in between. One of the evenings, I ventured to the West End to catch a musical. The choice was difficult, with so many acclaimed shows running, but I eventually settled on Les Miserables. The performance was electrifying, and the emotion of the story, combined with the incredible talent of the cast, left a profound impact on me. The vibrancy of the West End, with its neon lights and throngs of theatergoers, was infectious. My gastronomic adventures in London were equally memorable. From traditional fish and chips at a local pub to high tea at the Ritz, every meal was an experience. One particularly rainy afternoon, I found myself in a charming little cafe in Notting Hill. The warmth of the tea and the comfort of a good book made it a perfect retreat from the weather. Exploring the colorful streets of Notting Hill afterwards, with its pastel-colored houses and eclectic shops, was a delight. The final highlight of my trip was a visit to the Houses of Parliament and Big Ben. The Gothic architecture of the building was awe-inspiring. I took a guided tour that offered fascinating insights into the workings of British democracy. Standing in the historic Westminster Hall, where so many significant events in British history had taken place, was a humbling experience. As I left, Big Ben chimed the hour, a fitting end to my exploration of London's rich history. On my last day, I took a leisurely walk along the south bank of the Thames. The riverside walk was dotted with cultural landmarks like the Tate Modern and the Globe Theatre. I crossed the Millennium Bridge, which offered stunning views of St. Paul's Cathedral. As the sun set, I found a spot near the London Eye and watched as the city transformed with the twinkling lights reflecting off the river. Leaving London was bittersweet. The city had offered me a blend of history, culture, and modernity that was unparalleled. Every corner I turned revealed something new and exciting, and every experience had left a lasting impression. As my plane took off, I looked down at the sprawling metropolis below, already planning my next visit. London had captured my heart, and I knew I would return to uncover more of its endless wonders. Comment your feedback.